that hype. Hello, everybody. So, if you were watching and wondering, hey, where did they go? I forgot to hit the go live button. So, with that, welcome to the very first live episode of Under the Helmet podcast. Oh. Yeah. All right. So, technical difficulties aside, I am very excited. Very, very excited today. Put my helmet over there because today we are talking the Book of Boba Fett. Episode 5, talking about big baby Banthas, much more, and much, much more. So stick around, stay tuned, and enjoy the show. For some reason, okay, here we go, buffering. Yes, it's up. All right, the cast is live. All right, so if anybody comes in chat, I'll be more than happy to say hi, shout anybody out in chat. So, I figured to start off the stream, started off with a good old question. And it goes like this. If you could have any animal from Star Wars as a pet, what would it be and why?
Well, you see, the problem with a lot of animals in Star Wars is they don't make good pets because they would probably kill you.
Yes, but, I mean, you got to think, a lot of animals, especially with the Rancor, we've learned are kind of misunderstood.
This is true.
So, if they're misunderstood, like I want to think that they are, who would you pick?
Gundarks.
Thank you. Gundark representation matters. They get such a bad rap. They really do.
Gundarks are so cool. They have 4 arms and legs.
Big ears. Can't wait. Well, honestly, Gundark is a big win. Mine's a little bit simpler. I'm a bird guy, so I would get a porg. I would want a bunch of porgs just because they're cute. I like them. Plus, I feed birds on my terrace, so I'm excited for the idea of having a bunch of birds, a bunch of porgs. Oh, we got our first comment in the chat. Hey, Emma, how's it going?
Oh, hey!
Welcome to Under the Helmet. How are you doing tonight? Oh, we got 4 viewers right now. That's exciting. Hey, everybody. So, here you got Magically Gabby. Hey, Gabby. How is it going? I saw you shared our story over on Instagram, so big thank you to that. All right. So, first up, we are going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett, episode 4 in this cast. So if anybody in chat has any thoughts that they want to share, feel free, type it in. We'll be more than happy to read them out. So I say first thing we're going to talk about is probably the big and I use this phrase very loosely, controversy in this episode. And that controversy is this. Boba Fett calls his ship a fire spray. He does not call it the Slave One. How do you feel about that personally?
I mean, nobody ever actually called the Slave One in any movies.
Exactly.
It was just the ship.
Exactly. I believe there's one instance in Clone Wars where it might have been called the Slave One, but it was also by like Aura Singh, who's we don't like very much. So with that, there's kind of this big debate of the whole fire spray versus Slave One thing, and everybody's saying, "Oh, it's Disney PC lords going crazy," or maybe. And this whole controversy started from a Lego set, which, don't get me wrong, I like Lego, but that's a little ridiculous. Like, really, you're gonna take Lego sets as official marketing from Lucasfilm? Come on now. So people are saying that it's a big deal because, it's not called the Slave One, it calls it a fire spray. But, I mean, that's the type of ship it is. So I have a similar situation to you. Say you're talking to your friend and you're saying, "Hey, let's go get my car. My car's in this garage over here." And so I have a nickname for my car. I don't know if you have a nickname for yours.
I do.
Okay, so when you say, "Hey, let's go get my car," do you say, "Let's go get your nickname," or do you say, "Let's go get my car"? My car is a blank.
I typically say the nickname just because I'm really proud of it.
What's the nickname of your car? I'm curious now.
My car is the Gray Ghost.
The Gray Ghost. Okay, I gotta admit that's pretty cool. Pretty cool name. So my car and very subtle flex here, but my car is a '94 Mustang. So
Ooh.
my car is I've named my car after my grandfather because it was his car. So my car's name is Viddy, but I call it the Mustang or the Stang. I don't ever really call it Viddy that much. And if somebody gives me a call it that, it's because I'm feeling sentimental. But I'm not gonna go and be like, "Hey, let's go get in Viddy," and I'll say, "Hey, let's go get the Stang, or let's go in the Mustang," because that's the model car that it is. So if somebody goes looking for it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, Mustang, got it."
Yeah.
So in my mind, I think it's kind of silly, the whole fire spray versus Slave One concept, and obviously you can call it whatever you want. Like nobody is stopping you from calling it Slave One if you want to. I mean, I just rewatched Attack of the Clones the other day. He never calls it Slave One. Django never calls it Slave One. Boba never calls it Slave One. They just really call it the ship. So it's not that big of a deal. Does anybody in chat want to weigh in on this? What do you guys think? We'll see if we get any responses. Might take a minute to type. But anyway, so while we're talking about that, I think it's just a silly controversy, just kind of made up because people get bored. And I mean, I like fire spray. I think that's the model of ship it is. So I think it works. Alrighty, we're gonna move on to our next point, and if anybody in chat says anything, we'll circle back to it. But we've got the conclusion of the flashbacks this episode. This episode was pretty flashback heavy, but it was good because it kind of concluded everything. So let's start with it. What was your favorite part of the flashbacks this episode?
I'm gonna have to go with General Clevis.
General Clevis, yes. For those who know, that's the cooking droid with the many arms and kind of spinning it in circles. I thought that was pretty neat. I thought it was a pretty funny scene.
I love that.
I think my favorite scene is the scene with Boba Fett flying over the desert and taking out the Kenton Striders, the biker gang.
Yep.
I personally really like that scene because everybody was just always like, especially with this series, everyone's saying, "Oh, Boba Fett's so weak. He's so out of character." And then he flies through and proceeds to blow up so many of them, just mercilessly gunning them down. And it was cathartic to watch because they did, take out the Tuscans. So serves them right.
Yeah.
But a very cool scene. And just, I want to give a shout out to Tamara Morrison because his acting in that scene was amazing. You could just see the look of just rage and pain in his face. Chef's kiss. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely incredible, amazing. And then also, they take a little trip. Take a trip to the Sarlacc, the great pit of Carcoon, and it's still alive. So I kind of figured that might have been a possibility because I mean it's a giant organism, like it's not going to die easy. So the Sarlacc pit tries to eat the Slave One. I'm gonna call it Slave One. I don't care. Call it whatever I want. So it tries to eat the ship, basically. And Boba's trying to shoot it, nothing's working. And then our girl Fennec Shand jumps out, drops a seismic charge in its mouth, and it makes the best sound in all of Star Wars. The just pure boom.
So good.
Absolutely amazing. Love that seismic charge sound. Every time I hear it, it's a beautiful day.
I'm pretty sure the Sarlacc is like super dead now, though.
I hope so. I think it's kind of hard to to survive a seismic charge going down your throat and then detonating. I think the Sarlacc he's did. So then Boba climbs down in it, tries to find his armor, can't find it. So then he comes up, and Fennec says something pretty interesting to him. For anybody who's watched our previous videos, there's a certain one I'm pretty fond of. It's why you're wrong about Boba Fett, where I talk about Sarlacc acid and how it's bad for your health. And I love being right. I love being right more than anything. It brings me great joy. And there's few things in this world I am right about more than Star Wars. Like, if somebody has a Star Wars question, they come to me and they ask me. So I knew there was something going on with that Sarlacc and the stomach acid. So even Fennec says to Boba, hey, that stomach acid, not good for you. You're going to need some Bacta after this. So it's almost like they explained the Bacta in the show. What do you know? To quote the great Dexter Jettster from episode 2. Well, what do you know? So, there's also another thing they talk about in that conversation, Boba and Fennec. And that's about Boba's weakness. You want to touch on that briefly? Boba's weakness? Why is Boba gone soft?
He's tired of working for people who are going to get him killed.
I think that's a great mindset for him to have too, especially because he's getting older, he's getting wiser. I think his experience with the Sarlacc and with the Tuskens really showed him a better way of living and a better way to be. Where versus before, he was kind of like, running and gunning and going it alone. And if you read the War of the Bounty Hunter comics, Boba kind of makes enemies out of everybody. Like, he basically messes up every single bounty hunter you see in Empire Strikes Back. Like, I mean,
even some of the ones
he either smokes them or he either just straight blows them up, because he blows up. I believe he kills all of them except for IG-88. I believe, because he encounters all of them. I should say he doesn't kill them. So I'm trying to remember what happens, if I remember correctly. He blows up Forlom, basically mentally destroys Zuckuss, blows Bosk's legs off, straps him to a rock, and tells him, yeah, they'll grow back. Basically leaves Dengar for pretty much for broke on this frozen rock. So, and he also betrays a comic character named Valance. We're going to get into that. So basically, we've seen the person Boba is before the Sarlacc. And after the Sarlacc, it's kind of a rebirth for him to kind of see him come out and realize, hey, there's another way of living, and I need to live differently. So that's what he starts doing, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So I personally really enjoyed that. Let's see. So next up on the list is what I like to call the Boba Father. He's like the godfather of Boba Fett. Hey, don't mock my puns. So, I can't see what's going on underneath that helmet. I don't know if he's smiling or laughing or what's going on.
Yes.
Good answer. So, Boba. so Boba calls in all of the crime families and kind of brings them all together and sets them down at the table and says, hey, we got two choices here. You can either join me, and they're all just like, no, we're not joining you. So Boba's like, all right, that's fine. You don't have to join me, but you're going to stay out of my way. And they're all just like, okay, that's mutually beneficial. I'll stay out your way. We don't want to get between you and the Pikes. So all the other crime families are out. Do you think that any of them are going to try to betray going forward?
There was one species, and it wasn't the Trandoshans or the Aqualish, but it was the other one. The one that was like, what's
Platoonians
doing you?
Yeah, the Klatooinians, the ones with the really ugly looking faces.
Yes. Oh, I tell you what though, I loved Boba's response to that, or rather his pet's response.
Yes, that's actually next on the list. Actually, it's almost like you're reading it, but you're not. But so all the crime families are like, well, why don't we just kill you and then take it for ourselves? And then, like a proud father, the Rancor just boom claws up through the ground, and everybody jumps except for Boba and Fennec. They're the only two that are unfazed by that. And I think that's great just because I love everything in this show. I'm not like most Star Wars people. I actually enjoy the stuff I watch. What do you know? I
Tell
like
you
Star
what,
Wars.
I love how calmly Boba was just like, "Oh, he's hungry," and then just tosses him.
He just like drops him some scraps. He's
Yep.
like, oh, he's hungry. He hasn't eaten today. Drops him like a chicken leg. Like that's gonna feed the whole Rancor.
Well, he is a baby.
He's a big boy. He's a growing boy. He's gotta eat his vegetables. Also, I'd like to mention there's something I forgot to write down, but I think is important to mention before we move on. Let's talk about Black Chrysanthemum,
Oh yes.
our boy. So Black Chrysanthemum walks into a bar. He sees some Trandoshans just living, not even doing anything necessarily crazy. Just see some
Existing.
Trandoshans living their lives. And like the Michael Jordan meme, I took that personally. He proceeds to stroll up to these Trandoshans, and you can make the sound effect again. Just. And what's great about that is that you've got I believe her name is Garza Fwick is her name. And she comes up to him,
Yes.
she's like, hey, let's be real here. This is she was laying some moves on him. She was definitely throwing out all the manipulation tactics of just like, hey, you're a big, strong warrior, Black Chrysanthemum, and you're just a legend. But you're just being really violent right now, and that time has passed. We don't need that anymore. You're better than that, honey. And he just proceeds to go. And she goes, hey, you've run up quite a big tab here. So you put this man down and we'll call it even. And Black Chrysanthemum, with the most amazing move, just rips his arm off, throws him on the ground, drops his bag of money. Like, I don't need this. I don't need your pity money. I already got this. So then, Black Chrysanthemum is recruited by Boba, which I love. I knew from the moment we saw him, I was like, oh yeah, Boba is so recruiting him. He is a giant Wookiee who took mass punishment. He took a gaffy stick to the back. Not to mention, he threw Boba out of his bacta tank mid-sleep. Like an absolute savage. Black Chrysanthemum, we stand him in this chat. We really do. All right. And now kind of speed run through this, but we're getting to the end of the episode. And this kind of carries over for a little bit. So at the very end of the episode, Boba's talking about how, and Fennec are saying how they need to hire some more hands. And then a very specific theme plays in the background. And everybody collectively screams at once. Our boy, the Mandalorian's theme plays.
Darn.
Which I am very excited to see. If he shows up, I am very excited to see our boy Mando. There's been some leaks and some rumors about how he might possibly show up. If you want to get into that, so somebody said he might show up, and this is all speculation. This is not confirmed by anybody, but he might be showing up in a chrome N1 starfighter, which That would be cool as his replacement ship because the Razor Crest is destroyed.
That'd be pretty sick.
That would be really sick. That's the rumor. So very much take that with a grain of salt. I would not say yes, no, maybe so. I say tread lightly, speculate carefully. Would it be cool to see? Absolutely. But if in the next episode, Mando pulls up in like a Honda Civic, I'm not gonna care. Yeah, that's a meme reference.
Civic. I feel like
if he pulls up in a Honda Civic, I'm not gonna care. I'm not gonna care what Mando shows up in. If he shows up, my poor neighbors. I apologize. I will apologize to them in advance. Just like, hey, so Boba Fett episode dropping tomorrow. Some day's gonna happen. Just if you hear me yelling with excitement, just be cool, man. I believe the people behind me are actually Star Wars fans, so I think they're cool with it. They've got like a Baby Yoda sticker on their car, so I think they're fans. But yeah, so with the idea that Mando might be showing up, I'd like to open it up to everybody in chat as well. What are some other bounty hunters you would love to see showing up to help Boba Fett here? All right, who you got?
Bosk. Give me Bosk.
I would love to see Bosk as well. Bosk and Black Chrysanthemum may not work very well together. But I'd be interested. What would be really interesting and like a mini arc for Chrysanthemum is if Bosk shows up and Boba hires him and they're working together. What would be really interesting is if during like a fight, all of a sudden Bosk gets pinned down and he's about to get killed by some or actually no, all reversals. Chrysanthemum gets like pinned down and he's about to get like killed by somebody, and then all of a sudden, boom, something takes him out, and it's Bosk. Bosk saves his life. That would be really cool, and that'd be really interesting. But I mean, again, it's all speculation, and I advocate for speculating responsibly. I don't believe in just rushing into things and saying, "Oh, this is gonna happen." No, would it be cool? Yes, but this is all pure fan fiction right now. Unless it happens, then it does. If it does, I'm a prophet. I know.
You know what I think would be really cool? I want to see everybody's favorite Star Wars Terminator.
IG-88?
No.
Who?
The Terminator.
Valance?
Boy from...
Valance from the comics?
Yeah, baby.
Ooh, Valance would be good. I my only issue with bringing in a character like Valance is that not a lot of people know him.
Well,
and I think that would kind of mess with his comic run right now. And I mean, they didn't necessarily leave on the best of terms in War of the Bounty Hunters either. Like, Boba kind of blows him up and then abandons him to the Empire. So,
I mean, didn't Boba also take off Bosk's legs?
He did. That's true. And I mean, he also did wrong. This guy, the guy I want to show up more than anybody is Dengar.
Yes.
I would love to see Dengar show up. It's probably not going to happen, but it would be really cool. So I was a big fan of Battlefront 1 when it came out, the 2015 one.
Yes.
And one of my favorite heroes, or should I say villains, one of my favorite villains to play as was Dengar. Just because he had some of the best lines.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about giving people dirt naps. I personally really enjoyed that. I thought that was really fun. Oh, we've got 5 people in chat. That's pretty awesome. Hey, everybody. Hey, new people. There's a good bit of episode that you missed, but we're talking Book of Boba Fett, and we're talking bounty hunters we'd like to see show up. So if anybody wants to comment in the chat who they would like to see personally show up, I think that'd be really cool. Kind of gauge chat a little bit. Anybody? Yeah, no, nobody right now. But we'll see. We'll come back to it. Come on, all four of you. Give me a bounty hunter who we haven't mentioned. It could be anybody. I gotta say, all right. Let's kind of put on our speculation hats for a minute. Who
Wait
would
a
be
second.
the wildest? The
Wait,
wildest.
Speculation hat.
He's got an actual hat. Mine was going to be metaphorical, but mine was a metaphorical hat, but his is a literal hat. Very interesting. Oh, nice. Nice.
This one actually
Okay,
fits
nice.
me well.
That is a cool night owl helmet. I like that.
Right?
I love the weathering on that thing. That thing is so cool.
I love
Yeah, the mark like right. I'm pointing whoever would be on my face, but right there is really cool. That came out really good.
Yeah. I bought this one.
But anyway, so speculating, who do you think would be the coolest bounty hunter to see show up?
I mean, I feel like we've already talked about most of them.
Okay, I gotta put this. I gotta put this up there real quick. Sidekick Red said, "I thought he was gonna show up in a sombrero." All right, that was pretty funny.
I like that.
That would have been pretty funny. I unfortunately do not own a sombrero. I do have a cowboy hat though. Hold on.
Ooh. Do I have hats?
Yeah. Speaking of cowboy hats, that reminds me of the character I'd really like to see show up. the Mexalorian. Sidekick Red, yeah, great quotes.
Oh yes, the Mexalorian. That was an alter ego of mine while I was in Mexico.
Nice.
You can bring a Mandalorian helmet through border security as well as customs.
Good to know. You can actually fly with a lightsaber on most airlines.
Huh, interesting.
You just have to check it. Magically, Gabby asked, "Are you wearing 4 hats at once?" He was.
I wasn't. Yes, there were 3 individual flat caps as well as this hat and my helmet.
Nice. Layers. There's layers to this. But yeah, so speaking of hats, this hat's kind of a hint as to who I would like to kind of see appear. I'd love to see, again, this is a very far long shot, but it would be really interesting to see Cad Bane show up.
Oh, yes.
I think that'd be really interesting to see him show up and see kind of what he would do and how he would react. Because, I mean, Cad Bane's got moves. He's got a history with Boba and Fennec, so that'd be really interesting to see how that would play out. And I mean, it's been a long time since the Clone Wars, so it'd be very interesting to kind of see if he's still around and still kicking it. Because I believe, Cad Bane was a bounty hunter before the Phantom Menace, because he was in a Darth Maul comic, and it was him and. I believe he worked with Aura Singh as well. But there was a comic where Maul works with Cad Bane, Aura Singh kind of deal. So it would be very interesting to see Cad Bane. I'm not counting on it, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, sure.
Any other hunters you'd like to see? I think we kind of hit everybody who's around at this time.
Because Aura Singh is dead.
Aura Singh is dead. Yeah, we don't know the whereabouts of Cad Bane. We don't know if he's alive or dead. We don't know how long the lifespan of a Duros is, which is his species. Because there's Bosk, Dengar. I'm saying ones that we know are confirmed to be alive. His boss is Dengar. Is IG-88. He was reprogrammed. I believe Zuckuss is still alive. I don't know if he. I don't know if he would ever work with Boba. I don't know if he retired. He was kind of like hinting that he was retired in War of the Bounty Hunters, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's kind of my speculation, conspiracy cap going on. Who I would personally like to see show up. Again, could be anybody. I'm not picky. I'd love to see anybody show up. Really, even if we just get Mando. Mando would be cool and probably army enough. I mean, he's a one-man army in his own show. Plus now he's at the Darksaber. Game over.
And he's got his
Game
stick.
over.
His stick.
He's got fancy glow stick, as I affectionately call them. He got a fancy glow stick.
Oh no, I'm meaning the other stick, the poke stick.
Oh yeah, he's got a spear. He's got a Beskar spear too. I wonder if at some point he gives up one or the other, because like at a certain point he just becomes overpowered. He's got a.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't want the Darksaber, so I don't know if he'd use it.
That's very true. I wonder if he just like gave it to Bo-Katan and it's like, I don't care. I would love to see the a showdown between him and Bo-Katan over the Darksaber, but
I mean, the comics did an amazing job of it.
Mando season 3. Wait, who? What comics?
Kate Comics on Instagram. Her comic run known as Consolation Prize. It's one of my favorites.
Okay, yes, I actually know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah,
Yep.
Kate's comics work is amazing. If you don't follow them yet, chat, you definitely should. Kate's comics is absolutely amazing. They've got some great work, and it's just really amazing to see. Like I've been following the story for a while, and like each episode that comes out, I'm just like, oh, sweet new episode. The artwork is amazing. They've got a really good story going on right now with it's sort of the claiming of the Darksaber. I believe Mando gets possessed or something like that. It's really really cool story.
Yes,
So
I forget what the exact name of the run that they're doing right now is.
I don't want to spoil anything, so it's worth checking out. But you got really good great characters that show up, so definitely worth the watch. So I think we've kind of transitioned to a part of the episode where we've kind of established pretty firmly that we enjoyed the episode, that we like Book of Boba Fett, we like we obviously like Star Wars very much, but one thing I've been noticing a lot recently, and I guess it's kind of my own fault just for going to that side of the fandom and kind of listening to reviews and listening to different people talk in different like channels, like the bigger channels, but a lot of people have been kind of spewing a lot of negativity about this show and like Star Wars in general. And I was a part of that side of the fandom for a while where it kind of, got very toxic and very like, everything that came out just wasn't good enough because it wasn't this or it wasn't that. And then this past weekend, I've been out of that side of the fandom for a while. Thank God. I finally stopped listening to all that stuff and just started watching and enjoying things that I liked. And first off, the transition was amazing. I don't get angry as much. I don't, if I see something I don't like, I go, I don't like it. Move on. Versus these people that like obsess over it and make like 10-hour-long videos, and like in a video about Book of Boba Fett, they mentioned The Last Jedi like 20 times. Like, bro, the movie's been out for so long now. Just leave it alone. Go touch some grass or something. Good Lord. But I went back and I rewatched a bunch of Star Wars movies over the weekend, and it really helped me rediscover my love for Star Wars. And sort of, I don't want to say rediscover because I've always loved Star Wars, but it definitely helped put it into perspective. And I watched movies like Attack of the Clones, which I've never been necessarily a huge fan of, but I went back and I rewatched it and I was like, I actually really like this movie. And I was hard pressed to find a scene where I didn't like. And then I went through and I watched which one was it? I rewatched, the Clone Wars movie. I rewatched that on Sunday. I put that on my Instagram story. But I rewatched the Clone Wars movie, the worst one out there. I actually really enjoyed it. There was only like one panel I really noticed where the animation looked kind of janky. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed that movie when it first came out, and I enjoy it now. So I think when it comes down to things that you love and things that you enjoy, don't let other people tell you how to live your family or how to enjoy what you like. Because there's always going to be people that hate, there's always going to be people that are angry. And it's unfortunate because, when you tell people, oh, I'm a Star Wars fan, they're kind of like, okay, but what kind of Star Wars fan are you? And that sucks. That's not great. And it's sad because, Star Wars is such a simple message. And I also rewatched Empire Strikes Back, and one of my new favorite quotes just came up, and I want to share it with everybody. So the quote is this: the quote is, "Luke, don't give in to hate. That leads to the dark side." Very simple quote, very simple warning that Ben Kenobi gives Luke whenever he's going to leave Dagobah to go fight Vader. And I think at that point, that's more George Lucas kind of speaking to us, speaking to the audience. Because, Luke is the audience, his character, sort of. So to hear, listen, no matter what, you're going to go face this trial. You're woefully unprepared for this trial, but you're insistent you have to go face it right here, right now. So don't give in to that hatred because you're going to be tempted, but don't give in to hate because that's what's going to lead you down the dark path. And I think what's big about the Star Wars fandom is that a lot of people have sort of given into that hatred and sort of let it take them down a dark path. Where instead of just looking at things and saying, hey, this is a new Star Wars thing, I'm going to enjoy this. Or, hey, look, it's Boba Fett. I like Boba Fett. I like this. I've been a fan of this character ever since I was 9 or so. And not me personally. I've recently become a Boba Fett fan. Because personally, I disliked him because he was kind of boring. He didn't really do much. He had like 5 lines and died in 2 movies. But since then, and since I saw him in The Mandalorian, I was just like, hey, this character who I saw actually has some depth to him. He actually has some, character moments. And that was great to see, to coincide of see his change. So I'm really partial to this version of Boba Fett. I personally enjoy it. I know a lot of people are attached to the Legends version, where he's just flying around blasting people with his jetpack and blowing dudes up all the time, and he becomes the Mandalore or whatever. Like, that's cool. And if that's your Boba Fett story, that's your Boba Fett story. Nobody has ever said, hey, you have to stop liking the Legends because of what's in the canon right now. I think people can just enjoy what they like. And I think that if there's anything that we come away with as Star Wars, is we need to learn to enjoy what we like and just say, I disliked it. Because here's the thing. I personally, I dislike The Rise of Skywalker. It's my least favorite Star Wars movie. But if somebody came up to me and said, hey, I love The Rise of Skywalker. That's my favorite Star Wars movie. I can definitely look at that movie and say, hey, let's talk about the things that we like. Let's talk about things that we enjoy. Because there's scenes in that movie that I really enjoy. And, I just had this thought over the weekend, and I really had to share it just because I'm tired of all the negativity, man. I'm upbeat, positive person. And I think if there's one thing that we need to do as Star Wars fans is start spreading more positivity in our community and in our fandom. Because if not, we're just going to be known forever as that. Oh, that's a toxic fandom. You don't want to be with those guys. They're all jerks. Which, I mean, Some of us are, and some of us you're just never going to get that sort of satisfaction of, it's not going to recapture the nostalgia of sitting in the theater and watching A New Hope for the first time. I never got that experience. I'm a very much new fan, but again, I was only born in the late 90s. So what do you want me to do? I don't have that experience. But I have the experience of watching these movies and growing fond to them with my family and seeing them as a bonding tool to, something I can watch with my parents. And like to this day, put on a movie and sort of spark that childhood innocence again. It's amazing. It's a beautiful feeling. And I wish more people could enjoy the movies the way I do. But that's just me. You got any thoughts on this?
I think you summed it up pretty well. I like it when everybody can agree and just enjoy movies as they are. They're movies.
Absolutely. And we can always agree to disagree. We can always, here's the thing. You may love, and if I come through and start disrespecting what you love about Star Wars, that's not what anybody would have wanted. That's not what George Lucas would have wanted. That's not what anybody wants. So I say just cut it out. Like, bro, go outside, touch grass. Shovel some sand. It's coarse, rough, irritating. It gets everywhere. Learn to enjoy things that come out. And I mean, you don't have to like drink the Kool-Aid and be like, oh, it's the best thing that was ever made ever. But if you don't like it, just don't watch.
I'm sorry, you caught me so off guard.
Wait, say that again. Say that again.
You caught me so off guard with the sand comment. I was not expecting that. I've been laughing at it last minute.
Go shovel some sand. Yeah. It gets everywhere. But yeah, so anyways, Disney Star Wars ruined our childhood. It's all the House of Mouse's fault, and yeah, it's ruined forever. They actually went back in time and took my childhood and just boom, shot it right in the face, right in front of me. So yeah. For those of you that didn't pick up on that, that was severe sarcasm. Very much so. My childhood is alive and well.
Good to know. Good to know.
Good to know. But anyway, we kind of went off a little tangent, but it needed to be said, in my opinion. And I hope more people see it. I hope more people, learn from that and kind of take that into their lives. And if you don't, okay, I don't care. Doesn't bother me. So, let's conclude on this. Going forward, what are you most excited for on Book of Boba Fett?
Dengar.
Say that one more time. I kind of.
Din Djarin, bring me my boy, the Mandalorian.
Yes, I am excited to see Din Djarin as well. I think that is what most people are excited to see. I think that's going to be great. Disney, give the people what they want. We want to see our shiny head boy. Bring him out. All right. So, anybody in chat have anything else they want to say? We're going to start winding down in a minute. No, nothing. That's all right. I want to say thank you to everybody that came out and joined our live video. This is kind of something new that I kind of wanted to try. So, for a little bit of background context, I went on a Star Wars podcast recently called Lightsaber Radio. Shout out to those guys. They're awesome. They're a really great show. They're outrageously fun. I'm actually in their live chat a lot as well. So I personally really enjoy the community and the idea of this. I said, well, let me give it a go on our page, see how it goes. So I hope everybody has a chance to kind of leave some feedback, leave a like, leave a comment, share, subscribe, send this out to people. I want to build a community of like-minded sort of positive fans of Star Wars. So if that's what you're into, or if you just want to hear us joke around and talk about wearing 5 different hats, that's cool too. We don't mind. And if you make any memes, please DM them to Instagram at Under the Helmet Podcast. I will post them and I will give you full credit. Please meme us. We love it. We do this for fun. This is a fun thing, and I want to create a community of fun. So, with that being said, thank you to everybody that came out and joined us. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. You can find him on Instagram, as many of you know, at Basement Beskar Cosplaying. You can find me on Instagram at Dylan Just Cosplays, and we also have the Instagram page Under the Helmet Pod. Give us a follow, share what you think, leave us a comment, send us a DM. I will answer them. I have no life. I will answer your DMs, and we'll probably have a great conversation. So with that being said, thank you to everybody that came out. Magically Gabby, she said, this was really cool. Hope to see you guys live stream again sometime. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Magically Gabby. That was awesome. And Sidekick Red said a plot significant face reveal. Yeah, we're gonna get right on that in 1 second. Shoot, man. Something's going on right here. I think we're having some technical difficulties. I'm fine. Everything's fine.